7 U.S. cops have been suspended over the demise of an unarmed person of color who choked in the wake of being limited. Daniel Prude, who had emotional well-being issues, passed on in the wake of being placed in a spit hood, which is intended to shield officials from prisoners' salivation. Declaring the suspension, Rochester Civic Chairman Lovely Warren said fundamental prejudice prompted the demise. Mr. Prude passed on in March, yet his demise has just barely been accounted for. The 41-year-old kicked the bucket 2 months before George Floyd's killing, which started public and global fights against bigotry and police fierceness. His capture likewise bore likenesses to Mr. Floyd's, as both were stuck to the ground by officers. The move to suspend the 7 officials is the principal disciplinary activity since Mr. Prude's demise. Agreement rules mean the officials will even now be paid while on leave, as per city authorities. What did the city specialists state? City Hall leader Warren said at a news meeting on Thursday, "I am suspending the officials being referred to today against committee's recommendation. And I encourage the lawyer general to finish her examination." Daniel Prude was fizzled by our police division, our psychological medical services framework, our general publican. "He was fizzled by me," she proceeded. She included that his passing was verification. A considerable lot of the difficulties that we looked in the past are similar difficulties that we face today. The chairman said city police boss LaRon Singletary had neglected to illuminate her regarding the case until the start of a month ago. The subtleties just became exposed on Wednesday after the police body camera video was delivered through an open records demand. Ms. Warren said what she found in the video was totally unique from how the police boss at first introduced the episode to her, as a medication overdose. The City Hall leader said she was profoundly, by and expertly disillusioned, in Chief Singletary. She didn't declare any activity against him. Boss Singletary denied on Wednesday that his specialization had been attempting to keep the subtleties out of general visibility. "This isn't a concealment," he stated, as per the New York Times. He included, "Our main responsibility is to attempt to get a type of clinical mediation. And that is actually what happened that night." New York Attorney General Letitia James's office assumed control over the examination in April. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo required the case to be finished up as quickly as possible. How did Daniel Prude pass on? Mr. Prude's sibling, Joe, has said he called police on the 23rd of March as Daniel was indicating intense psychological wellness issues. At the point when officials showed up, he had been running bare through the lanes in a light day off. Police body camera video acquired by the family shows Mr. Prude lying on the ground as officials control him. Mr. Prude can be seen consenting to officials right away. While sitting out and about, he gets upset, on the other hand requesting cash or a firearm. He swears at the officials who encompass him. They can be heard evidently laughing. He spits over and over on the ground, however doesn't seem to offer any physical opposition, as indicated by the recording. An official says that Mr. Prude disclosed to them he has COVID-19, and they place the spit hood on him. One official can be seen pushing down on Mr. Prude's head with 2 hands, saying, "Quit spitting." Mr. Prude quits moving and goes calm, and officials note he feels cold. Paramedics are called and Mr. Prude is taken to medical clinic in an emergency vehicle. His family took him off life uphold 7 days after the fact on the 30th of March. The Monroe County clinical analyst governed Mr. Prude's demise a manslaughter brought about by inconveniences of asphyxia in the setting of physical limitation, as indicated by a posthumous assessment. The post-mortem report additionally referred to energized incoherence and intense inebriation by phencyclidine, or the medication PCP, as contributing components. What occurred before police showed up? A stockroom laborer and father of 5, Mr. Prude had gone via train from his home in Chicago to visit his sibling when the occasions that prompted the lethal experience unfurled. Around 8 hours before he was drawn nearer by police. Mr. Prude was taken to a medical clinic in Rochester for an emotional wellness assessment. He was delivered into the consideration of his sibling. However, before long started to act whimsically again and afterward ran into the road and removed his garments. His sibling told police Daniel had blamed him for needing to kill him and jumped down to his storm cellar head first, as per the New York Times. Mr. Prude's Annie, Latoria Moore, told the Associated Press news organization her nephew had been hit hard by the passings of his mom and two siblings throughout the long term. What are spithoods, and for what reason would they say they are questionable? Spithoods are work texture hoods put over the heads of suspects. They are planned to shield officials from a prisoner's spit. Pundits who contradict their utilization state they are upsetting and embarrassing, can cause alarm in the kept individual, and make it harder to see if a detainee is experiencing issues relaxing. Lately, they have been investigated as a factor in the passings of a few prisoners in the U.S. and different nations. In the UK, lobby Bunch Liberty said that, as of February 2019, spithoods were being utilised by, in any event, 30 of the 43 police powers in England and Wales. In 2016, UK police powers told the BBC they possibly utilise them when proportionate, proper and legitimate to secure officials. The Metropolitan Police says its medicinally administered tests have discovered spithoods present no danger to a speculates relaxing.